play.
And I mean, of course, there's the big story of Navarro having to fight so hard her way through this draw. I mean, she's reached her third straight quarterfinal at the Grand Slam, so basically, you know, she got a fantastic consistency at this level. But you know, she hasn't started the season in an amazing way level-wise, and it's kind of impressive for me to see how she still managed to, you know, to overcome all these difficulties that she's had. Of course, this was a big opportunity for both, regardless of the fact that there's Swiatek in the quarterfinals. I mean, for sure, because of course Kasatkina, you know, adding a quarterfinal at the Australian Open. I mean, it's still something, of course. Even if we know that the matchup against Swiatek is a bit tragic for her. And Navarro, I mean, just, you know, very resilient. She's playing now better and better, because I feel like this match was, I found it enjoyable. And now I'm kind of interesting because, you know, it's of course tough not to see Iga heavily favorite in the next match. But still, I mean, it's still gonna be for sure, I guess, a bit of tougher opponents compared to the ones she's had. Let's see how also well Navarro recovers physically, because she spent so many hours on the court. So probably we have kind of a similar situation that before, you know, we were thinking about the Sinner Alcaraz round 4 matches, you know, because we see Navarro as this sort of player who can, who knows, maybe challenge Iga when she's playing well, when she's incredibly fit. Everything has to go, of course, into the right way for her, but probably right now she's not in the best possible conditions. Also thinking that Iga basically hasn't spent any sort of energy so far in the tournament. So, you know, even for example, if you know, Swiatek doesn't play well right from the beginning and Navarro manages to pick up few games and prolonging the match a little bit, still Iga would have, you know, plenty of energies to use. So I struggle actually to see Navarro winning the next one. But, you know, for sure, it's, you know, if we just compare where Navarro was 1 year ago, where we knew that she was, of course, growing and growing, but still, you know, seeing her 8th in the world and 3 straight quarterfinals at a Grand Slam, it's still, you know, huge if you, you know, look at how well she has grown over the past, let's say, 18 months.
Way, when it comes to Navarro Kasatkina, yeah, it was definitely quite entertaining. I think the difference between this and the previous Navarro matches was like this was one where she had all the chances to close it out before finally, you know, she could have actually wasted it. There was 1 hour, a 1 hour 15-minute break between the match points she had in the second set and the one in the third set. So that's insane. And you know, it's not like Kasatkina didn't actually get to at least a small chance. She had a break point at 5-all in the third. So definitely quite a tumult. I mean, yeah.
2 break points, actually.
2 break points, yeah. Stuff was happening there. Like Navarro easily could have choked that away. But she didn't. I think she's still going to be a pretty tough, like a tougher opponent for Iga than Kasatkina would have been. Like that's pretty obvious, I think, considering how Iga has been destroying Dasha 6 matches in a row, never losing more than 3 games in a set. Of course, Kasatkina won on grass in like 2021, but let's be honest, that doesn't matter. We've seen Iga hit through these slices so many times now. WTA finals was another Evalis and Raducanu type of match, also just 1 game. So basically, I think that it's good that Navarro pulled through. It's going to be a stronger test for Iga. Do I expect her to win? Not really. But of course, you're also right to point out that it wasn't that we were kind of like doubtful about Navarro going into this event based on her quality. It was more so the fact that the form since the US Open seemed to have collapsed. But she has recovered it. And now she's going to play Iga, which, I mean, you can only really gain from this point. Making the quarterfinals, it's already great. I mean, otherwise, you can only regain. So we do expect Iga obviously to be in the semis, but maybe Navarro can give her a bit more of a run for her money than Kasatkina would have. It's just a more unpleasant ball to face, I guess, for Iga. Even if, of course, Emma will not be able to attack as much as she was today against Kasatkina.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
And I mean, of course, there's the big story of Navarro having to fight so hard her way through this draw. I mean, she's reached her third straight quarterfinal at the Grand Slam, so basically, she got a fantastic consistency at this level. But she hasn't started the season in an amazing way level-wise, and it's kind of impressive for me to see how she still managed to to overcome all these difficulties that she's had. Of course, this was a big opportunity for both, regardless of the fact that there's Swiatek in the quarterfinals. I mean, for sure, because of course Kasatkina, adding a quarterfinal at the Australian Open, I mean, it's still something, of course. Even if we know that the matchup against Swiatek is a bit tragic for her. And Navarro, I mean, just very resilient. She's playing now better and better, because I feel like this match was I found it enjoyable. And now I'm kind of interesting because it's of course tough not to see Iga heavily favorite in the next match. But still, I mean, it's still gonna be for sure, I guess, a bit of tougher opponents compared to the ones she's had. Let's see how also well Navarro recovers physically, because she spent so many hours on the court. So probably we have kind of a similar situation that before, we were thinking about the Sinner Alcaraz round 4 matches, because we see Navarro as this sort of player who can, who knows, maybe challenge Iga when she's playing well, when she's incredibly fit. Everything has to go, of course, into the right way for her, but probably right now she's not in the best possible conditions. Also thinking that Iga basically hasn't spent any sort of energy so far in the tournament. So, even for example, if the Swiatek doesn't play well right from the beginning and Navarro manages to pick up few games and prolonging the match a little bit, still Iga would have plenty of energies to use. So I struggle actually to see Navarro winning the next one. But for sure, it's if we just compare where Navarro was 1 year ago, where we knew that she was of course growing and growing, but still, seeing her 8th in the world and 3 straight quarterfinals at the Grand Slam, it's still, huge if you, look at how well she has grown over the past, let's say, 18 months.
Anyway, when it comes to Navarro Kasatkina, yeah, it was definitely quite entertaining. I think the difference between this and the previous Navarro matches was like this was one where she had all the chances to close it out before finally, she could have actually wasted it. There was 1 hour, a 1 hour 15-minute break between the match points she had in the second set and the one in the third set. So that's insane. And it's not like Kasatkina didn't actually get to at least a small chance. She had a break point at 5-5 in the third. So definitely quite a tumult. I mean, just
2 break points actually.
2 break points, yeah. Stuff was happening there. Like Navarro easily could have choked that away. But she didn't. I think she's still going to be a pretty tough, like a tougher opponent for Iga than Kasatkina would have been. That's pretty obvious, I think, considering how Iga has been destroying Dasha 6 matches in a row, never losing more than 3 games in a set. Of course, Kasatkina won on grass in 2021, but let's be honest, that doesn't matter. We've seen Iga hit through these slices so many times now. WTA finals was another Evalis and Raducanu type of match, also just 1 game. So basically, I think that it's good that Navarro pulled through. It's going to be a stronger test for Iga. Do I expect her to win? Not really. But of course, you're also right to point out that it wasn't that we were kind of like doubtful about Navarro going into this event based on her quality. It was more so the fact that the form since the US Open seemed to have collapsed. But she has recovered it. And now she's going to play Iga, which, you can only really gain from this point. Making the quarterfinals, it's already great. Otherwise, you can only regain. So we do expect Iga obviously to be in the semis, but maybe Navarro can give her a bit more of a run for her money than Kasatkina would have. It's just a more unpleasant ball to face, I guess, for Iga. Yeah. Even if, of course, Emma will not be able to attack as much as she was today against Kasatkina.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Thanks for tuning into this watch along.
My name is Clara Towson and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans and I'm a friend of the show.
My name is Zainab Sammaz and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jaime Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hello. Iga Swiatek against Emma Navarro. That's going to be the fourth Australian Open quarterfinal. We almost know it all about the final four lineup. We already know, of course, since yesterday that Aryna Sabalenka will play Paula Badosa, and now we also have Madison Keys in there, defeating Elina Svitolina. I woke up right in time to watch the third set, and that was a really good display from Madi. Obviously, she went out there. She just crushed the ball against a very strong defender, and she did take it. So, yeah, one of these women. I mean, either it will be a pretty interesting story with Madi, I guess. Navarro beat her, Roland Garros, was it? I think she leads the head-to-head 2-1. Iga leads the head-to-head 4-1, but the only, fastish hardcore matchup that Iga and Madi have played, that was Cincinnati, and that was won by Keys. This isn't a fastish hardcore, to be honest, but it's no Indian Wells either, which was the only other hardcore meeting. In terms of Navarro and Swiatek head-to-head, I mean, that basically doesn't exist. Back in 2018 in Charleston at an ITF event, they met in the first round, sorry. Iga qualified for the event. Emma got a wild card. Emma, of course, is from Charleston. Her dad has major business there, so she was always getting these chances. And Iga qualified for the event, made it to the semis, lost to Madison Brengle, who was the top seed at the time. Madison Brengle, I mean, wow. That's a throwback to a rather uninteresting playing style. Either way, that's not important right now. What's important is Iga crushing this backhand return cross court. Once more, we have Kacper Żuk in Iga's box, which is kind of interesting. Obviously, also along with the usual suspects. And we start with the poll getting 3 break points right away. Navarro kind of hasn't started too hot, let's just say. Yeah, especially as Swiatek is crashing another backhand return cross court. So it's essentially a perfect game to start. One game on the board already for the poll with a couple of massive backhand returns. Am I okay, Jake? Yes, I am okay. I've slept for 4.5 hours today. That's enough, right? Yeah, I think that's enough. Obviously, I'm also gonna have more naps later during Shelton Sonego or something like that. But yeah, I'm fine. Marcus mentioning the possibility of Paula Badosa and Madison Keys playing in the final. That would be indeed something special. There's Sabalenka Swiatek. That's a good final, obviously, every single time. But you can also have Badosa Keys and one of them winning a slam. That's actually kind of maybe my favorite outcome of this whole thing. Indeed, that would be something spectacular. We have legend Van Germany backstage. He will probably join in just a few seconds. And I mean, yeah, we're so excited to hear his take on this matchup. Everybody thinks an upset is possible here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, after watching the first game, you kind of just definitely want to say, nah, you guys probably gonna win this quite straightforwardly. But I mean, Navarro has a shot to push her, right? I don't know. If Sabalenka went out yesterday, can you imagine what this match today would have been like? Like, you would just be saying, okay, so Iga just has to like keep herself steady and probably she takes the title. But of course, Arina is still in. Although Keys also can push her. I mean, we'll see. Navarro has been showing so much determination and so much grit throughout this event. Perhaps she can get this done as well here. I mean, she's definitely a fighter. We'll see how much that actually matters. Her ball can be a little unpleasant for Swiatek, you'd think. Although in Charleston, that previous match, obviously it probably wasn't. I don't remember the match, needless to say. 2018, 2 games. But but yeah, I mean, I imagine that was just a very different point in time in their careers. You know, Iga was already like winning ITFs on a regular basis. Emma made it through college and kind of, well, took her time, let's say. Okay, that was a more promising point from her, although that drop shot finish could have been about 100 times better. Yeah. Actually, I was thinking about it the other day, John. Yeah, absolutely. That we actually could have a Badosa Swiatek final here. Yeah. Especially when Pavlyuchenkova was up a break on, well, briefly up a break, as I like to call it, in the third set on Sabalenka. You kind of had to start considering the possibility, yeah. I'd like to see it, yeah, sure. I mean, I think it would be a pretty fun one as well. We had a good match between them at the Beijing King Cup, where Paula like steals the second set, but doesn't really have too much energy or momentum for the decider. Well, we had some incredible cross-court returns from Swiatek. Now it's Navarro with the winner. Okay. Vansh apparently will be on in a few minutes. Anyway, Fergus must have hit on Jean-Jean. Who's Fergus? I mean, Fergus Murphy or Fergus Gavin or Fergus... I don't know if I know any other Fergus. Navarro trying to scramble her way through this point, but it's not going to get to that slice. When do we say Navarro has Swiatek exactly where she wants her? When... I don't know. Probably when she's back like on the flight to Poland or something like that. Or when Swiatek is hitting like against Pegula at the US Open, you know, when just simply like, you know, crashing through every ball with little to no thought and making 40 unforced errors in 50 points. Like, yeah, that's when we will say that. So far, it seems like Iga kind of has Emma where she wants her, but let's see. That's a more impressive point from Navarro, definitely. But the problem is that she's unable to like really hurt Swiatek with that pace. And there's a shorter slice there from Emma, which Iga just steps in and takes for a backhand down the line winner. I mean, if you wanted a good start from Iga today, then yeah, I mean that's it. Okay, I'll bring Vansh in since he says he's ready. Hello.
So, hello. I wasn't able to watch the first 2 games, but by all accounts, this looks like it was a very good start for Iga and kind of tough to see Navarro making too much of an impact.
I mean, 2 games, but yeah, the break was to love. There were 2 backhand return cross-court winners. Then there were, I guess, a couple of nicer points actually from Emma on return, but the finishing wasn't there. Like, you know, she pressured, and then she went for that drop shot, which was like before the net, or then eventually had to play something shorter and Iga just swooped in. So I guess this is the crucial game now for her, just to like not fall behind too much. Of course, now, Swiatek has already beaten her sister from another mother. I mean, Navarro's sister from another mother at this event, Emma Raducanu. And we know that the Emmas, you know, they tend to be very similar. Yeah. And
one
either
Emma
way...
is very, very overhyped. The other is very underrated.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I think you already mentioned that Emma has spent like, I don't know, 8 more hours on court or something, or 6 more hours. Like quite a bit more. And Swiatek has made the quarters in like 4 hours and 30 minutes total time on court. So very different routes.
Yes, Warner, I'm sorry. I'm 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m., right? I mean, you can definitely excuse me for some horrible attempts at humor. I'm not even sure which one joke you're referencing, but I've made a lot of terrible ones since the start of the stream, and it only started like 10 minutes ago, so we are really not on a hot streak here. However, Emma Navarro, 40 of up, I mean, yeah, basically we just want her to like settle into the match and see if she can give Iga some trouble. I think there's definitely a pretty decent shot here to like have Swiatek's most competitive match of the event.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little troublesome because Siniakova took 7 games, but did it ever really feel like she was there, like she was about to do something? Probably not.
No, but I have been impressed with Emma's ability to fight through a lot of those third sets without playing some of her best tennis. It's like super gritty. Like that, I feel like she can hold here. She can definitely make this competitive. I don't see like a path to victory right now for her, but I can see her pushing Iga more than Iga's been pushed. Even by
Yeah, that was, I guess, to kind of an answer to Jake's question as well. How can Emma trouble Iga? Ivan just said that he doesn't see a path to victory. Yeah, I mean, she's not like super. At least you would think. I would think that her ball isn't that pleasant for Iga generally. Like when Emma is attacking, she's no Jessie Pegula, but she is hitting pretty flat. And
yeah, the forehand is going to be key for Navarro because she likes to use the opponent's pace on that wing and just kind of redistribute it. But when it comes to creating her own, yeah, that's kind of the shot that can sometimes break down. I'm just trying to be more offensive on it.
And probably trying to redistribute, as you said, like it's not really going to work today, especially against the quality of Swiatek's ball as well, the weight, the spin.
Yeah.
Anyway, she gets the game eventually. It was 40 love, then it was 40-30, but yeah, some decent serving. I think a couple of moments when even maybe Emma could have won this more easily with that flat back and going a little long at 40 love. It's a start. Definitely the opening game was a little horrifying from her perspective, but there's still a chance to just kind of keep herself close. And well, I mean, she's probably should have a good chance to like win as many games as Shramkova, Raducanu, and Liz combined. So
yeah. So the winner of this, plays Madison Keys. Keys came back from a set down against Svitolina, and actually, interestingly, I didn't know this stat, but I came across it on Tennis Abstract that Svitolina had won 65 of her last 66 matches after winning the first set.
Oh, okay.
So
you had a little pause there, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So what was the match she lost before the one against Maddie?
It was actually Coco at the U.S. Open. So
okay, yeah.
But yeah, Keys now on a 10-match winning streak, and she's in the top 10. So I don't know. I mean, we saw her make the semis in 2022 and 2015 as well. It's her 7th major semifinal, 3rd at the Australian Open. We know she can go in these runs. So far, only one final in 2017. We'll see how she's able to do this time in the semis, because 3 years ago, I mean, yeah, Ash Barty really kind of demolished her.
Oh no, yeah, she just faced goats in these Australian Open semifinals. I mean,
Serena,
Ash Barty at the time was just like you literally couldn't beat her in the Australian Summer of 22. And Serena, obviously, 2015, she also took the title, and 2015 was the year when she almost won the Calendar Slam. So,
yeah. By the way, good look for Navarro here to put that lob in the court, but
he
sailed it long.
Yeah, there was a lot of time on it, but she did push it a bit long. I think obviously, I mean, Keys is just like such an elite ball striker. It's a good run. It's another good run. I mean, her record at the slams is much more impressive than her record otherwise generally. So, of course, no titles, but she's had so many deep runs.
Yeah,
good for her to get another one.
This is something that Navarro, when she does try to be offensive, she likes to go deep down the middle. I've seen this a lot from her, where she just doesn't like give her opponents that much angle, and she just goes hard down the middle, like she did here at the 15. So that can be something she can look to do, especially on Iga's second serve. Look to be more aggressive. Get Iga on the back foot. She has a very flat backhand as well, which she likes to take early. And of course, we know that she's elite defensively. I mean, she's a little bit more, just kind of reliant on getting a lot of balls back. She likes playing long rallies, long physical points. She loves three setters, in quotes.
Yeah, today the goal has to be to get another free setter, and then from there, let's see. But like, yeah, that's kind of where we're at, I guess.
The last player to get to the quarters, having played all three setters, was Jelena Dokic in 2009, I think.
Yeah, it was like the late career run of Dokic. I was looking at it just the other day for some reason. I don't remember why. Oh yeah, I know, because I was following. This was stupid, but I just decided to look at how Dinara Safina's 2009 season was.
Oh yeah, I know, because she got to world number 1, but she won.
Yeah, but it was pretty
randomly
incredible.
good.
Like it was actually quite insane. I mean, Australian Open, obviously she makes the final, and then to go Rome, Madrid, Roland Garros. Like at Roland Garros, she's like destroying everybody before losing to Kuznetsova. I think she also had like something else as well, where she was just crushing people along the way. Yeah, I think maybe Madrid. And then I mean, obviously she didn't win a slam, but like that year she seriously was just unstoppable for a while. Then maybe slowed down a bit at the end of the season, but yeah, I was just thinking about that quote from Serena that Dinara did so well to get to number 1. She won Rome and Madrid, and she starts laughing.
It's one of the all-time tennis quotes for sure. It just makes me laugh every time I see it on the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, what Serena says there sounds worse than what actually Safina's record in 2009 was. But yeah, basically that's why I ended up looking at the Elena Dokic 2009 run.
Last year, he won Rome and Paris and became number 2.
Yeah, something like that. And Dokic did, by the way, also in 2009 in that run, she did take a set of Safina in the quarters. So it ended with 5 consecutive quarterfinals.
Okay. Well, there was a good serve from Iga at 30-0, but then she double faulted here at 40-30, so a little bit of tight service game now.
Anyone know what time the semifinals are on tomorrow? I mean, it should be like last year, right? So night session, I think, for both.
Yeah. So both at 7 p.m. local or 7:30 maybe. And I'm gonna guess this one. I'm gonna guess Iga versus Keys will be the second semifinal, and the first will be.
I mean, that's not a guess. That's just how it is.
Yeah, that's just that's like 100% actually. There's no way they can change that.
I think last year it was even 7:30 when they started, but yeah, something like that either way. 7 or 7:30 p.m. A bit more of a promising return game for Navarro here, but still, obviously, she doesn't get a break point, so 1 free down. And I mean, nothing really changes from that 0-2 game. Just gotta keep holding and kind of keep praying, attacking the returns when she can.
Yeah, that was a bit better. Definitely got a bit more traction in that game. I see Iga is blowing her nose. I don't know if she's under the weather. Probably not.
Yeah, she was doing that at 0-2 as well. Or 2-0 from her perspective, yeah.
Yeah. The last time I saw her do this was like that period where she played Ostrava and then she played San Diego like the week after that. And she was like sick in that period. Or just like struggling with some kind of a cold.
The San Diego Slam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she wishes she could be in San Diego now.
6-love third set against Vekic. One of the best sets she's ever played.
A lot of third setters there, right?
Yeah, the semis and the finals were both 3 setters. I think.
It was like something. There was something with 2 matches in a day. I don't remember who played 2 matches in a day, but there was something there. Vekic maybe.
Oh, there was Vekic and Daniel Collins. Yeah.
Yeah, because she was like 2-4 down or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was raining that day actually, and there was also a rain delay in the Pegula versus Swiatek semi.
Well, I mean, you guys just crashing backhand winners for fun of the return here. 2 in the opening game of the match. Now she's got 2 more. 1 down the line, 1 cross court, inside out even. So, well, that's so far that's kind of like the major issue for Navarro. Not that her first serve can't do damage to Iga, but her second definitely isn't doing anything thus far.
Yeah. That's going to be a big issue for her in this matchup. The first president, I mean, obviously I know who the first president is, Ghosty. I don't know, is there somewhere you're going with this? Some kind of a joke?
By the way, there was one more third setter in that San Diego run. I knew I wasn't just coming up with this. Qin Zheng.
Yeah, Qinwen and Pegula and the final Vekic. She also beat Coco in that run, right?
Yeah.
It was like this was when she really had Coco's number.
In a match that was not like very specifically not a third setter. It was not a free setter. It was definitely quite obvious and easy for her that day, but maybe the rivalry has restarted now. We'll see. Well, going down the break point here, Navarro. Gotta like this though. It's a creative play on that break point. Looking a little, I was looking at it a little bit like, oh, really? But no, actually, sure.
Yeah, goes for the drop shot down the line, and then manages to win the point from there. That's definitely creative.
I mean, the first president of the US definitely was not San Diego, but it was another big American city.
Or a state in the US too, right?
Or a state. Or a bridge. As far as I know, no Diego has ever been elected the president of the United States. Although, some other guys did, who were also named by after cities like Cleveland. There was also that DJ guy, Armin van Buren.
DJ who?
Because there's this American president, Martin van Buren, and like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, there was this like Dutch DJ, I think, Armin van Buren. And
okay.
Yeah, that was a joke about that.
Wait, he's like the 9th, 10th president, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, like 1830, 1840, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
For the first semifinal of women tomorrow, yeah, I mean, I should be.
Well, I'm backhand down the line. The change of directions, quite elite from Iga.
Yeah. No, that's not 5 or 5:30 a.m. That's night. That's night session, John. So later.
Yeah, that's gonna be like 12:30 a.m. for me, I guess, the first semi. But also against Sabalenka. I don't know if you saw any of Sabalenka last night before the Djokovic Alcaraz match, but she was twice down a break in the third.
Yeah, very briefly. I mean, it was never consolidated, but yeah. it did feel like there's a big chance there coming up for Pavlyuchenkova.
Yeah, there was like
she did
this
kind of
same
tire
point,
out.
like there was this backhand on the line that she had opened to go up 2-love.
Yeah.
For 40-30. I think that was really the moment that I kind
Lots
of
more
looked at.
wind in the third set too, which considering how Pavlyuchenkova was trying to play the matchup was a little more troublesome for her than for Arina, definitely. Either way, Swiatek up a double break for one. Kind of cruising.
Yeah, the conditions yesterday were so drastic because in the day it was very, very hot, very, very sunny, and then all of a sudden windy and very cold and slow. Obviously, that also carried over to the men's match later in the first set.
I think much less. I mean, it wasn't
the
as
first
windy.
few games, but after that, it wasn't really much of a factor.
Yeah, it wasn't too windy. Well, then I don't know. Djokovic Alcaraz was it exciting to watch? And it was definitely compelling in the fourth set, but overall far from the best. Probably the worst match.
Yeah,
like
definitely
quality wise.
Quality wise, no.
Yeah,
it was frustrating, especially from an Alcaraz perspective. But also from a Djokovic perspective, I guess. Yeah, I mean the last two sets were just amazing from him. But yeah.
It's a great mental display for him for sure. Serve return game, he like dominated it, regardless of how Alcaraz was returning the second serve.
58% of second serve points won. The forehand on the deuce side was killing Carlos. The forehand return, I mean.
So
especially the
I mean,
serve.
You know, it was still compelling when the fourth set got going and when Alcaraz had
I think that was the best tennis was after Alcaraz went down a break in the fourth. That's when I finally.
But like when he had any opportunity, he still found a lot of ways to potentially miss out on it. So it was like a very tentative display. And can we actually see Djokovic winning the event from here? I mean, maybe, but if he has to beat Zverev and Sinner along the way, that's still quite tough.
Mm-hmm.
But
maybe he's able to recover after this match because it was very physical, and of course he did suffer that injury, which is similar to the one he had 2 years ago. I think it might even be the same injury or very similar.
To what?
2 years ago, right? We had the hamstring injury. Then he basically wasn't hitting open stance backhands. But he still like crushed the field anyway.
No, everybody but Enzo Cuoco.
Right. That was the second round where he won the tiebreak?
Yeah, the second round.
Yeah.
Greatest of all time from Mauritius or however you say it. I was gonna say as well that from like Alcaraz's perspective, there's literally no positive you can take out of yesterday's match. Literally zero.
Yeah.
Good takes.
I mean, it's kind of weird because you look at the serving stats. I mean, the second serve is really where he got killed, right? 33% of second serve points won. Djokovic 58%. Spot serving as well, even on the first serve at times, he was getting crushed because, well, Djokovic is a very quality returner, and Alcaraz just doesn't hit the spots as well as he could.
Yeah, but like in the fourth set, the Djokovic serve was doing pretty much zero damage too. It's just.
But the Alcaraz return was not, punishing him even for the slow serves. He just
gotta return the ball in play instead of just like trying to slam it every single time. Getting much closer to the baseline.
The second serve was tricky for him with the Djokovic physical issues that he actually lost quite a lot of venom from the baseline, which he had in the first set, and that's where you could really see like the difference between them, the explosiveness and like how much.
Well, one player had a physical problem. His intensity went down. The other player couldn't really like shake it off, and one actually restored it. The other didn't.
But even then, I mean, he goes down 3-love. He gets that break. It's 4-all. Love 15. Alcaraz has a second serve. He attacks it. He comes forward. The approach is like so central, and he was just, I don't know what he was really trying to do there. But after that, he didn't win a point all set.
Well, yeah, I mean, still an incredible win for Djokovic, but Alcaraz was so tentative and like you can he plays Sinner. Obviously, it's so different for him because with Sinner they kind of are growing up at the same time, and they played for the first time when Yannick was 15. When Yannick was 17, he was 15, so he just treats him as his equal. Whereas Djokovic is like if I was gonna play Federer tomorrow, like that's kind of how Alcaraz treats the matchup. So.
Yeah, I think you sent out that tweet, which was pretty appropriate, where you were like, in his mind, it's the
I mean, that's clearly the case. Like, it's much easier for him against Yannick because they literally like grew up at the same time and they are coming onto the tour. And first match, 15, 17 years of age, it's just so much easier for him to treat Sinner as his contemporary. And when he's playing Djokovic, he's kind of playing the legend. It wasn't always like that either.
I would say I hope if we do get Djokovic Sinner, I hope Djokovic has the same level of intensity and spark and motivation that he does when he plays Alcaraz, because I want to see a good match between them.
I mean, he's gonna be in the final then. I mean,
I don't want to see
do think
Djokovic come out flat like he did last year, and him not get a single break point like he did in Shanghai or Australia last year. And I think Sinner's won 4 of their last 5 meetings.
If he gets outplayed, he gets outplayed. But I mean, I think he's definitely going to have the intensity. First has to get through Zverev, and we know that what Zverev will be trying to do, like exactly, right? I mean, he's just going to be...
allow Djokovic to sleep.
Exactly, he's just going to be trying to win this ugly. And maybe he will succeed, maybe he won't. Speaking of Swiatek Navarro, I mean, we do have like a bit of a demolition on our hands so far. There was that long point from Iga where she finds the corners twice. And now Navarro is just really up against
free points. And all the long rallies, she's getting killed right now, 16-4.
Yeah, it's actually very rare to see a breakdown like this, but we have it here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of long rallies, just to be clear as well, right? Like 16-4 compared to 18, the shorter ones, but yeah, I mean that's where she's getting just demolished. And I guess that also just comes from the fact that she can't generally hit through Swiatek, and eventually she just ends up having to find something else. I mean, she did with that drop shot earlier, but otherwise most of these plays she's lost. But yeah, 1-5 down here. Let's see if she can just keep pushing.
Yeah, she's going to try to avoid another
so far it's just like another one of these matches. Like if Iga starts well, you kind of know that. Yeah, I mean, okay, the match is maybe not done yet, but the set at least probably is gonna go in her favor quite easily.
Yeah,
it's usually when that start is a little slow. That's when you can trouble her a bit more. Oh, some great backhand hitting here from Navarro.
Going under the radar at a non-Roland Garros slam, and really kind of putting up these score lines and feeling like she absolutely should get to the final now.
What's on the level of Djokovic Alcaraz rating out of 10? I don't know. Compared to what we know they can do, 4.
They are nowhere near the level of Wimbledon 2023 or Cincinnati 2023 or even the Olympic gold medal match last year.
Who produces more topspin, Iga or Coco? I mean, on the WTA, I don't think we ever really get these stats, but you would definitely say that Iga gets more on the forehand, and then on the backhand, probably as well.
Yeah, both ground strokes.
It's gonna be a lesser difference on the backhand, but
yeah.
But yeah, on the WTA, we're kind of just doing this on the eye test, I think, unless we have some stats during the broadcasts on the big events, which we sometimes do, but we don't have like these graphs that sometimes show up on the ATP side. So we are kind of, let's say, these are estimations from us, but yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that Iga would be registering more on both shots.
Yeah. Four Americans in the top 10 right now, 5 in the top 12. As Danielle Collins is 12th.
Ooh, and from 40 Love here, Navarro is now a deuce. I mean, not much she can do on that previous point, but definitely you don't have to double fault at 40-30. And yeah, even getting that second game on the board is getting challenging now.
I have an interesting question for you. Who's more likely to win a slam? Pegula or Keys?
Pegula isn't exactly younger than Madi, is she? She might
like
be
the same
older
age.
even.
They're like the same year. Same.
Yeah. So it's Keys.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more time does Jessie Pegula have at the top of the sport? 2-3 years? Tops?
Probably 2-3 years tops.
So yeah, I mean, I do think it might be Keys. Of course, Pegula last year's US Open, like someone knocks out Sabalenka and she probably gets it done. But no one has knocked out Arina Sabalenka out of hardcourt major in quite a while.
Somehow wins that second set, and then the crowd goes crazy. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying it, but if someone knocked out Sabalenka, then yeah, Alexandrova in the third round, of course, had a big chance. That's very much the questions for now. Yeah, I mean, I hope she has a lot, but some of the recent, of course, developments have been a little baffling. The 2-month partnership with
a bit worried
Goran.
about her career. Bit worried about her career, to be honest. Not really the level, but more the off-court stuff.
Yeah, I mean the fact that Madi is in the semis is definitely playing into it. I agree in that question between Keys and Pegula, and maybe it might be like a little but okay, she still isn't like one of the favorites to win this slam, and yeah, she isn't. But even just getting one semi from here, considering that we're thinking they probably have like 2-3 years at the top of the sport left, so even that is already huge. And by the way, I mean
she might have missed that window in Wimbledon 2023 itself, Pegula, with that Vondrousova match.
Yeah, it's still the quarter, right? But yeah, I mean, there would have been some chances there. Either way, Iga gets the set 6-1. There was a 40 love for Navarro in the previous game. I mean, if she's not taking advantages like this, gonna be very hard to stop Iga. Yeah, just a really strong, clean set of the ground. Her timing is on it once more.
Now
she has bageled her last 3 opponents.
Now that she's taken the set 6-1, let me ask you a trivia question. Since the start of 2022, this is Iga's 238th match. And this was her 84th. Oh, wait, I just told you the answer. Yeah, it was her 84th breadstick. 84th breadstick. She has 63 bagels, by the way. So basically it means like in 61% of her matches, she either has at least one bagel or breadstick. Since the start of 2022.
Wow. That was good. That can also be clipped into like a YouTube short, actually. Bastian's trivia question.
I just gave you the answer.
I just told you the answer.
That's the 84, but I told you the 84.
Yeah, I literally have no idea. I cannot right now tell you what my answer would have been. No.
Yeah.
Well. Iga Swiatek 6-1. Yeah, last three matches she's played, she bageled her opponents. Let's see if Navarro has that fate lined up for her today as well. I mean, I don't think she has to. She had that 40 love. There were some brief moments when she also was troubling the Iga serve just a little bit. But yeah, so far, when Iga's timing is on point like this from like the very first point of the game, it's so hard to be there, especially as a player who's like, I mean, she can play aggressively, but she's still like a primarily, let's say, extend the points type of opponent. Maybe the second set, though, Emma will deliver some fight. I mean, we know that she can, right? That's kind of one of her main qualities too. So break in the opening game of the second set would be kind of the moment maybe for her to fire back. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see if she can try something different, or if Iga's level drops a little bit, or what happens.
Okay. So I've just got a message from a friend of mine who says that if the Minor wins today, he vows to play tennis with only his left hand for the next year.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
Unless it's a retirement. So he's giving himself that clause. But you know, no, I mean, I'm trying to justify that Alex has a shot, but I mean, slow conditions as well. They're not even good for him in this matchup.
Yeah, I definitely would not be watching a point of that. Sorry.
If it was during the day, though, would you?
Maybe, but most probably not. I would probably just check the score and then see if there's any jeopardy. I mean, I will say they had one good match, which was in Rotterdam. But like, did you ever really think de Minaur had a chance? Probably no.
Well, come to Talking Tennis to hear the tennis fans speak. I will definitely not be watching any point from that major quarterfinal.
No chance, yeah.
I mean, Vansh will be sleeping through it, but like, yeah, if I see that
I mean,
Alex
I was
de
more
Minaur is
excited about
upset,
Sinner Rublev. Sinner Rublev last year I was more excited about than this. And I didn't even watch a point of that. So there you go.
yeah, I didn't watch a point of that either. I know that some people actually liked it. The second set was apparently pretty close. Oh, actually, no,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, sorry. I actually watched some of the second set because Yannick was like facing break points and then got to the tiebreak.
Yeah,
And
then
like
he was down in
from
the
when he
tiebreak.
won that, he was, yeah, from when he won the second set tiebreak, that was like just like okay, that's the match right there. But I guess I did watch a few points, but it was similar to what I'm gonna do here. So like if it's interesting, yeah. But otherwise, I'm just sticking to Quimper and Oeiras today. So in the evening session at the very least, Shelton Sonego, I'll probably catch some of it. I think
Yeah,
that
we'll
both
watch.
players will likely lose to Sinner, but maybe Shelton would just have a shot. I mean, we always say this about the Shelton Sinner matchup, but
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah, if
I think he's played
Shelton
him
just
he's played
Ben just
well. Like
comes
it
out
hasn't
and plays well.
they've been good matches. They haven't been like, you know, I didn't they've been all right. Like Vienna, Shanghai 2023 was all right. It was pretty good.
I mean, obviously Ben won Shanghai,
But
right?
even Wimbledon, right? The third set was quite close. The tiebreak there. He could have easily won that set.
Yeah, but then you knew
But
that Shelton has like nothing left after the first 3 rounds. So
right, and then the first set tiebreak in Indian Wells as well. So like at least you could get a tiebreak, and then something can happen. But Shanghai as well. I think Shelton had the 3 break points to go up 5-3 in the second set, but he didn't take those, and then he lost the tiebreak.
I think unfortunately, even when the tie breaks happen sometimes, so like the Shanghai match, it just doesn't really feel that close. It's kind of like the Hurkacz Sinner final.
The Shanghai match was just Ben basically outserved Yannick, and that's how he won. Like from the baseline.
I'm talking about 24.
24, yeah, the tiebreak was kind of
Because that's like I mean Shelton gets what he wants. He gets into a tiebreak, but it never really feels like he actually has a shot to win it.
Yeah.
But still, I guess that's the more exciting matchup over Sinner Sonego, although I know there's an 80 million, no, probably less, like 60 million country in Europe that would disagree with me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like another game like this where Navarro is pressuring the Swiatek serve a bit, but it's not enough to generate a breakpoint yet.
No breakpoint so far for Emma on the Iga serve.
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of 30 alls now and deuces, but
yeah, 2-1 I think was maybe the best chance she had in the first set. Then not much she could really do. Iga came up with 2 really good points.
Probably if we saw that pressure points 1 stat on the screen right now, it would be something like really drastic in Iga's favor. Okay. Well, the game isn't over. It's another double fault for the Pole. Yeah, if Pavlyuchenkova won yesterday against Sabalenka, well, this match would also have a bit of a different narrative. Swiatek would be like considered, just such an overwhelming favorite to win the title, and such an important title for her as well if she can get the Australian Open into her trophy cabinet.
Imagine if Navarro beat Zhang at the Olympics. She had 2 match points.
Did Kerber have any match points?
No, but she was up 4-1 in the third set. And,
okay.
And then they had that epic third set tiebreak, which Zhang ended up winning 8-6. But it was a very good tournament from Kerber.
That's how you want to end your career, really. I mean, that's literally what you want.
Like the perfect ending.
Well, that's going to be another game on the board for Iga. This was, again, challenging, but she wins all these deuce points. She literally wins all the points she has to. And Navarro still unable to generate the break point. She's going to have to keep up with her on serve. Let's see if she can do it. But yeah, the timing's still on point, definitely. Some early pressure of the return from Navarro, but it's not amounting to all that much. Did Alcaraz's serve
Badosa versus Goff? Badosa, very impressive performance.
I didn't watch it.
Oh.
I had to wake up for 4 a.m. for Zverev Paul. So I missed it completely. I mean, I heard that it was more like the...
I missed most of Zverev Paul, but I caught up on the first 2 sets later.
Yeah, I heard it was more like the Madrid 2023 match.
Yeah, a lot of ways. You had Goff, the forehand, 28 unforced errors, trying to be very aggressive with it from the middle of the court. But then Badosa was hitting the ball really big, really strong, really deep. Could have even won it 6-2 in the second set. And Goff gets 1 break back. Yeah, I mean, it was overall a really good result for Badosa, who's like back in the top 10 now. And she's playing better tennis than she was when she was world number 2, I think, for sure.
By far. I don't think it's close at all. Back in 2022, the world number 2 ranking was just like, completely irrelevant.
Zachary and like
there was just one player on tour that year. And obviously Rybakina as well, who won Wimbledon, and that's it really. Like there was one player on tour, and Caroline Garcia, I guess, in the second half of the season, but because she only had one good half a year,
she finished number 2 in 2022. Ons, right?
Ons, yeah.
2 slam finals.
2 slam finals, yeah. But well, I guess at Wimbledon she had a chance, but that was actually not giving her points. so she actually had one slam final
without getting points at Wimbledon.
Yeah, in the sense of the rankings, she had one slam final only.
Right.
I think Garcia was the clear number 2 since June onwards. It's just that she never actually got she never got higher because it was only half a year. But yeah, I mean that year Badosa definitely I think felt like a pretty random number 2. A lot of people were excited about her going into the 2021 French Open. She kind of had a big chance there, but plays very nervous in the quarters, just like last year against Navarro at the US Open. And of course, right now, she definitely is, to me, a much stronger player, considering that, there's just so much more in terms of talent on the WTA Tour right now, seemingly. Plus, I mean, just the consistency at the majors.
I think she can push Sabalenka.
Maybe
even win.
It's been a difficult matchup for her. Definitely, you trust Arena more mentally with the way that she's been responding to any issues this event or Brisbane or generally anything recently.
I remember telling Ben Rothenberg when the quarterfinals at DC were happening. I was like, Badosa's winning this thing. I think she can beat Sabalenka in the final. Then Sabalenka didn't even get to the final. She lost to Marie Bushkova in the semis.
Yeah, that was Arena's first event after the injury. But what happened in the next month kind of trumps that Washington loss.
Yeah, Washington, and then she loses in the quarters in Canada. And then just dominates Cincinnati and US Open. Just lost that one set to Alexandrova in the third round.
It's definitely been good the last half a year or so to make like predictions like this about Badosa because she's just reliable right now. Like she literally gets to these stages every single time. You pick Paula Badosa and you're like, yeah, sure. I mean, she's gonna go far. She almost doesn't lose anymore in like the early rounds. Either way, well, that's actually a pretty nice game from Navarro. There was a long point at 15:30 where like she's sprinting around the court, she's jumping like the Duracell bunny, and yet, yeah, at some point she just kind of gets overwhelmed by all the angles from Iga. But now she gets that backhand cross court winner, very flat, 1-game all. I mean, you gotta just somehow stick with Iga here, and maybe something will come out of that. We'll see.
Jake,
still no break points for you. Okay. I will look at it in a second after watching this point.
Oh yeah, Kondovic was also number 2.
Oh yeah. That. Yeah, that's quite insane. No, I've never even seen Dr. Ivo play live, Jake. I mean, I definitely wanted to, but from like 2018-19 when I started traveling a bit more, there was no there was just no opportunity to do it really. At that point, he started playing mostly in the United States. Obviously, he resides there, I think, in Florida, and yeah, at that point there was actually no chance really for me. I know, John, you have Wimbledon 2003 against Leighton Hewitt, the famous upset. Okay. Very brief cameo, but
yeah,
fine.
I was going to say the cameo from a producer.
Or rather from like half the face of the producer. It was only nose and above. If you weren't paying attention, you probably missed him. Oh, I remember a lot of Ivo versus Mari matches, but I don't know which one that is actually. There was that year when they played at Wimbledon and Roland Garros, and that was kind of brutal. In general, the Mari matchup was kind of brutal. I think at Wimbledon, Mari lobbed him 7 times in that match.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Definitely was obviously fantastic against Djokovic every single time, but against Nadal he was pushing him most of the time. Against Roger as
2011
well.
Indian Worlds, baby.
Yeah, Australia, very good match. Either the year before or the year after, or the year or that year as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe that year.
Either that year or the year before. I'm not positive.
No, actually 2011. Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Wimbledon 2016. Yeah. That was the 7 lobs match, I think. Obviously, that did feel like a better.
Oh, 15. 2015. He got to the quarters, and then that's the lobs.
Yeah. 16. He lost to Lukasz Laczko.
Oh.
That was like the only bad loss Karlovic had that summer. But that's why I was tempted to say 16 because that was a great year for him. I forgot that at Wimbledon he actually had this flop against Laczko. in the second round, I think. Well, Iga gets another game. This is just like the angles and the spin on over every shot. Navarro, sure, she's a fine mover, she's a fine defender, but there's just no way she can keep up in points like this. So still on serve, but it's Emma who has to be very, very careful not to drop any more poor games here. I guess the main problem, I mean, with the way that Iga is outplaying her in the long rallies, like Emma has to be so quick to like win most of the points, and that's not really her game. Like even that hold in the second set, the points she was winning was mostly like good serves and +1 forehands.
Yeah, you have to be able to attack Iga off the first shot, and I just don't. That's not really Navarro's game style at all. Like it's the exact opposite.
Most of what she's winning is just like serve and +1 forehand. So Iga is like turning her into a Madison Keys, and not in a good way.
Practice for the next round then.
Yeah, practice. Yeah, I mean, Iga is just like, okay, so I'm gonna play Keys in the next round. So I'm gonna force Navarro to play like Keys, and I'm gonna have some practice. Yeah, that's good.
What's the head-to-head between Iga and Keys? I know Maddie has one win in 2022 in Cincinnati, and then they played in the clay swing last year.
Yeah, it's 2-1 for Navarro. The other match is in Guadalajara.
No, I mean Iga versus Maddie.
Oh, Iga versus Maddie. No, it's 4-1 for Iga.
They played that many times. I mean, I remember.
Yes, they played 3 times in clay. 2021 Rome, 2022 Indian Wells. They played later, and they played twice during that clay season when.
2022, yeah, that was the 6-1 6-love. Okay, that's
when Madison was beating everybody, but then getting crushed by Iga, and of course there's the win from Cincinnati, which was really, really dominant.
Cincinnati 2022, when Caroline Garcia won the tournament from Qualis.
Some funky hitting on the forehand here from Navarro. She actually makes the line there, even though, I think the control over that shot was a little gone. You can see that in a long rally like this, she has to like really push herself.
Yeah, well, that's the forehand that sometimes tails away from you that you can hit cross court.
Yeah, but she did find it on the occasion, so she's got a 40 lap
forehand
lead.
won her a lot of the marathon matches, actually.
Sorry?
This actually was big for her in some of his long 3-setters. This shot right here.
Yeah, what's always big for her. What's always big for Iga here is the return here for sure. Once more, it's just a serve in the middle of the box that she is crushing. But she is 15-40 down. She did break from love 40 already in this match, the 5-1 game in the first set. Oh, wow.
Dario's role in Iga's team, I mean, basically everything. Psychologist. All-encompassing.
What is Daria's role? I mean, sports psychologist, but actually it's much, much more than that. Yeah, it's like...
She's the fitness coach, she's the main coach, she's the manager, she's the PR person. She's everything.
The friendship between Mira and Diana Schneider does not bring tears to my eyes, Nurlan, but I am very proud of them for reaching the Australian Open semis, beating the Olympic champions, of course, in a rematch of that clash along the way. And I am very excited about this women's doubles draw as a whole. I think this event has been on fire, this Australian Open. And to have the semis between Siniakova, Townsend, and Andreeva Schneider, and then, of course, Sia Ostapenko and and Dabrowski Routleaf, it's a fantastic lineup.
Yeah, that backhand on the line is just going to kill Emma.
The water carrier. I mean, that's probably also one of the many roles that she has.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, of course, as like outsiders, it's so hard to judge. But I also understand that
Both
some
Iga and
people
Carlos, they love
are
playing in
raising
the day.
questions. Let's say.
Iga and Carlos, they like playing in the day in Australia, for sure. Wait, has Carlos? Carlos only played one match this weekend in the night before the quarters, but that was on Margaret Court Arena.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really like that important, though, right? I mean, you should still be playing much better in slower conditions, and
slower, colder nighttime
physical
conditions.
intensity should be like something he could possibly maybe look at. But yeah, yesterday was just a little too tentative to do anything. But definitely very hard to hit through Djokovic at night anyway. Even when he's 37. It's a good return from Navarro. Again, flat down the middle. That seems to be the trick. Maybe she can finally generate that first break point. And if she could do that, yeah, the second set would actually start looking a little bit more scrappy for Iga.
Yeah, the return position is definitely something Carlos also has to look at when he's facing Djokovic, especially with how well Djokovic is hitting the spots, and then when Alcaraz stands in, then Djokovic just goes body or finds that slice serve, and then his own second serve. Obviously, it's pretty hard for him to win points.
Well, long point usually means trouble for Navarro, but maybe she can somehow grind Iga down here. She's kind of playing like Daria Kasatkina right now. And we know that slices don't do that much damage to Iga. Now she's turning Navarro into Kasatkina as well. So maybe she's like, oh, I wish I could have played Dasha, so I'm just going to turn my opponent into her.
By the way, that was a great match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that third set. Look at this mirage on her screen. The mirage next to the clock.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Ooh, a good opportunity there for Navarro, but she shanked the forehand.
Yeah, it's definitely like one more game where Navarro briefly has a shot. But now can she actually find that first break point? And so many 30 all points, even 15-30 here. There's gonna be more another deuce as well. At some point, I guess, there has to be an opportunity for her somewhere here. Or does it? The schedule for tomorrow is out, I think. Yeah, it's 7:30 p.m. local, as we thought. So it's John, if you wanted to know, because you miscounted earlier. That's 9:30 a.m. European time. And obviously the first semi-final will be Sabalenka against Badosa. After that, Keys against Navarro or Swiatek. Let's see. I mean, finally, can Navarro produce a breakpoint here? Just another deuce. She's gonna be pressuring the Swiatek middle again a little bit, and you know what? She actually will have a breakpoint finally. Wasn't like the riskiest second serve return she's had the entire match, but she definitely went at the middle, then again with the forehand. And after 5.5 minutes in this game, Emma Navarro, and after about an hour, she finally hits a breakpoint. And I mean, You know,
Yeah,
we've been
that's
kind
that
of
thing,
laughing about it, but
middle of the court deep.
yeah, it's doing, it's doing the trick so far. I mean, we've kind of been laughing about this match potentially being competitive even at some point, but like, yeah, like Navarro can be legitimately up a break in just a moment.
Yeah, I mean they've had a lot of close games. I would say the first set was 6-1, 35 minutes, but a lot of 30 alls, deuces, some half chances. Let's see what happens on the second serve return. Swiatek probably going to go to the forehand now. Okay, that's actually, she's kind of on the back foot on that return, but oh, that forehand from Navarro, she was kind of on the back foot while she was hitting it. Being forced to loop it. She's got that loopy forehand now, which she told me in San Diego is like what was the quote that she gave me that I always mention, but I forget. I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know.
I'll find it actually.
Yeah, she didn't have too much time on that forehand down break point up. She kind of tried to like speed it up, let it loose even more because of that. It doesn't like twirl into the line. So well, this was kind of a pretty massive chance for Emma here to give us a twist.
So after Emma Navarro beat Siniakova in 6-3, 3-6, 6-1 in San Diego last year, I asked her, about her backhand and how much she loves that shot. She said, my backhand is more of a steady shot and my forehand is maybe a little bit of a rebel child.
But I guess she's not suggesting that, like, well, she still has confidence in the shot, right? She still thinks that it's good. Ooh, there might be some controversy in here regarding a potential double bounce. Honestly, I kind of have to see it again. I don't know. Navarro does not like the decision or lack thereof. I don't know what to say.
Oh,
I want
don't
to see
know,
the
actually.
replay.
This is really close. I have to see the replay.
Yeah.
This is too close. I can't see it from the angle right there.
Let's see also how Iga's ball bounces after. Okay. And what does Iga's ball do? I guess she makes it, actually. I mean, it bounces like straight up. I don't think there's topspin on it.
Oh, I think she got it.
I think she makes it, actually, but it's very hard to say. From all the angle
Oh,
replays.
you know what? Actually, no. I see the other angle after that. And actually, I don't think she made it.
Okay.
I don't think she made it.
Okay, yeah, she didn't. Yeah. I'm seeing another angle now. Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, it was definitely a double bounce. I guess we don't have a video review tool here, just like we did at the US Open.
It depends on the angle that you watch it, because the first two, I was like, okay, or the second one,
Yeah.
but the third one, no, I see it very clearly now.
There's a very good sideline angle at some point, and yeah, it's a double bounce.
That sucks for Emma.
Yeah, she played a great drop shot. I was actually thinking she might just get the point straight up. Like, I don't know. I was thinking Iga probably gets to it, but maybe puts it into the net just because it's so hard to get any like traction from there. But yeah, that's well, we have the tools available. Like, we should be able to review calls like this. I don't think that's particularly controversial. We saw at the US Open, it's not always
why don't
that
they have it
simple.
here? They have it at the US Open, but they don't have it here.
Yeah. I mean, we have the tools, as in, like, the technology is easily available. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We have the tools, as in it's like super easy at the biggest events to introduce something like this. Of course, we saw at the US Open that there are also issues sometimes even with that. I mean, Haddad Maya Kaniskaya, that was just such a joke. But well, there's really no excuse for this still not being available to every player at every slam, every single biggest event at the very least. And I don't know how important this is. Obviously, it was just going to be deuce if Navarro wins the point, but well, it's unfortunate for her, definitely.
Yeah.
Tough to say as well if we can blame the umpire. I mean, she was close to it.
My dad just texted me.
Double
Umpire
bounce?
can't see double bounce? Question mark. And then he says Emma is too nice to make a big deal. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, Joao, I don't think Navarro can ask for video review because it's simply not available. Why do I keep calling the conditions slow? In the night session, they are definitely quite slow this year. The Australian Open this year is not playing too quick in general. Live, the day session is, sunny, more bouncy, but depends on the day as well, like how hot it is. But the night session is looking pretty painfully slow. I don't know if it's the balls or something, but yeah. Well, and now Navarro once more has to like fight for her life.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because that was a very important point in the match.
It was pretty important, yeah. Like it's not just like a low 15 point somewhere, or low 15 actually would be important, but let's say just first point of the game someplace. It's another game where Emma potentially could have broken Swiatek or could have at least produced more chances. And yeah, just really unfortunate once more. I maybe even instead of focusing on the umpire who is sitting very close by and probably should get this, we should just kind of be angry at the fact that this technology is not easily available to the players.
Yeah, it's not always easy for the umpire to see it, honestly.
From this angle, kind of doesn't get easier though. I probably could argue because, like, yeah, she literally had the best.
I think I blame the technology more than I blame the umpire.
Yeah, still agreed with that, but yeah, she had the best view in the house probably for this particular ball. But yeah, sometimes it's very hard to say. I mean, sometimes even playing, you're not gonna be aware. So,
yeah. Do you think Iga knew?
I can't tell you that. I mean, literally, it's impossible to tell.
Either.
Most of the time, you will know. I know there are some people who are of the opinion that, yeah, I mean, obviously, every single time, but I don't really think that's the case. I've definitely had a shot in my life where I'm like, I'm barely getting to a drop shot, and then actually the response is pretty good, but it bounces kind of funny, and then I don't really know what to do because, like, I don't have the absolute certainty that I didn't make it. Like, I definitely don't. In fact, I thought I did. But when I see how the ball reacted, I'm like, well, but it's also not as clear that, like, yeah, okay, if it was just like a straight up pickup and it bounces with topspin, yeah, sure. Then I can probably with full certainty say, okay, that means I didn't make it. But if it's just like a little bit of a funny, I don't know. Yeah, I've definitely had instances where I was like in two minds whether to say that it was a double bounce or whether to simply say, yeah, I mean, I have no idea, man. In fact, in most cases, I think I just offer the replay, then that's fine. We get this a lot with a different thing in table tennis, where double bounce, it happens sometimes, but most cases are clear. But there's a lot regarding the edge of the table, right? Whether it hit the side or the edge, and yeah, in these cases, I'm like never really sure.
All right, what we are sure about is that Iga is 2 holes away from the Australian Open semifinals.
Definitely. Yeah, and this again, like so many of these longer rallies, it's just impossible for Navarro to create any advantage. She doesn't. She moves fine. Obviously, is one of her strengths, but she does not move that fine to compete with Iga really in points like this
Yeah,
when
she
her
needs that
timing is
one,
on point.
killer shot. You need that one killer shot that you can immediately put a player like Iga on the back foot, and she doesn't really possess that. So I don't even know if there's any court that I could actually see Emma, well, threatening just because of how the matchup is. Maybe we'll see more matches between them this year, and then we'll see if like Emma gets closer or if there's any other court where she has a better chance. But personally, Navarro's game, surface-wise, doesn't really vary too much. Her strengths and weaknesses are pretty.
Some people on Twitter are actually saying that there is the video review technology. That the video review technology exists at the Australian Open, but they basically told Navarro that she had to stop the point right away in order to get it, and that's too late. Which is true, but apparently they have video review. Okay. That's weird. I haven't seen it used the entire event. Sorry, that's why I assumed it's not there.
I don't know. I still don't get why they didn't use the video review if they haven't. But
I mean, because it's it's like with a challenge, right? You can't play out the point and then ask for it. It's
so
like with
basically, she
Hawkeye.
should stop the point.
Yeah, she didn't stop the point. She played it out, right? And then started complaining. So it's actually I mean your opinion on the rule can kind of like be whatever you want, but well that's why it happened, and you kind of have to understand why. But I just wasn't aware that the technology was even there, since I haven't really seen it the entire event.
Yeah, and of course you have to be really confident to stop the point midway. Hopefully not as confident as David Ferrer though in Miami 2013 against Murray. On the match point.
But we'll get another deuce actually on the Swiatek serve. There was a fantastic passing shot from Navarro there at 1540. Best shot of the match probably. I mean, also one of the first times Iga really approached this match. She hasn't really needed to in any way, but yeah, there she kinda is trying to close out the game a little bit more, maybe too quickly. Navarro thought with a great shot, and now another really solid combination ending with the backhand down the line. So more deuces on the Swiatek serve. She's only had one breakpoint so far in that previous game that ended on a double bounce. But maybe she has something more here as well.
Okay, that was a good point. 5th backhand winner. She has 5 on the forehand. See what happens here at deuce. Oh, so Swiatek got a time violation. Wow, that was a good serve. Oh, but this volley is not gonna go over the net. She wasn't that comfortable finishing that off at the net, so she didn't close the net enough. She did a good Taylor Fritz impression there.
With what, the volley?
Sorry, Taylor.
Yeah, that was kind of unusual. I was like, wow, is Vansh really shading Taylor Fritz?
Well, I mean, everybody, including him, knows his volleys are bad, so.
Yeah, and Galman
I would argue his
too.
positioning at the net is worse than the actual volleys. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just, as a whole, he's just like so clunky as a mover, as an athlete, and that's kind of what gets him. Like, he doesn't have poor volleying skills.
His side-to-side movement is better now, but it's obviously still not like elite. But I mean, yeah, in the forecourt, he's just totally.
Yeah, I don't think it's
really not competent.
his actual hand skills at the net, no.
No, yeah.
He's just never gonna be there with good timing. He's never gonna be there in a good position. So how is he gonna hit it? Yeah, I mean, against Monfils, he probably should have tried, but.
Well, yeah, he was 16 for 30 at the net in that match, and he'd rather just retreat back to the baseline, preferably for him. But I mean, that's what kind of why he lost to Musetti as well in Wimbledon. You know, can't really finish against their speed. All right, 6-1-5-2.
It's not been a bad second set from Navarro, but again, how many deuces can you have on the Swiatek serve while only generating one breakpoint, and how many?
Yeah.
Obviously, that one breakpoint wasn't converted either. So the chances, yeah, I mean, they've been slim, but maybe there was something more there, at least for a moment. But right now, it seems like the opportunity is come and gone. So yeah, can she keep holding on to it? The first set, she had that 40 love and lost it at 1-5. Let's see how she does it 2-5, Emma Navarro. And maybe there's some nerves at the end there for Iga. We'll see. Still already won more games than in the previous match. You know, it's the little wins that count.
Yeah. I mean, what is Navarro's record like against the top players? She has a win over Sabalenka. She has a couple of wins over Goff.
Does Madison Keys count? Probably not.
No.
I don't remember her playing Rybakina too much.
What is her record against top players? She definitely matches up better against Sabalenka than Iga.
Yeah.
But oh, by the way, this profile pic of Emma Navarro on Tennis Abstract is kind of wild.
I don't know if I've seen it, so I'm gonna check. Yeah, Eddie, I forgot about your Scottish roots. Yeah, it is a Celtic shirt indeed. back in the 2000s, there was a moment when everybody in Poland was watching Celtic when Artur Boruc and Maciej Żurawski played there. Shunsuke Nakamura was my favorite player, definitely, though. The free kicks, amazing stuff.
She has played Rybakina, actually. It was a 3-setter.
Okay. Where
in
was
Doha
it?
last year.
Yeah, okay.
6-4 in the third.
I don't remember that much.
I was there for her first top 10 win. Live in the front row. Courtside, if you will. Seven 6 in the third against Maria Sakkari.
Oh, yeah, it is a wild peak, definitely. She just looks so much different. I mean, in basically all aspects.
Yeah, I couldn't
yeah,
recognize her. I thought there was a mistake. Like maybe Jeff Sackman.
Jeff is just using the free license photos, basically, right? So
yeah,
the ones that you have in like Creative Commons or whatever.
Oh well, 2 points away from the semis for Iga.
Backhand cross court, very nice from Navarro, so she's gonna get a game point here.
Yeah, it's just tough for Emma to open up the court using these angles that Iga is doing very comfortably. So as a result, she's kind of having to, I don't know, grind out long rallies and wait for mistakes, which is a very tough way to win. But this backhand here, at 30 all, okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit better. Took it really early. Okay, she's gonna try her best to defend here, but Iga's heaviness and forehand accuracy was just too good.
Yeah. Again, when her timing is on like this, moving pretty decently is not gonna be enough. So
the semi-final lineup is very good. I think the quarterfinal lineup was pretty good too. Hopefully, we get that Sabalenka Swiatek final. That's kind of what
Badosa Keys.
Yeah, one of them will have a.
Yeah, honestly, I want either that or that. Like Sabalenka Swiatek or Badosa Keys. I don't want to see Sabalenka. I don't want to see Swiatek playing Badosa, and I don't want to see Sabalenka playing Keys. I want either like the feel good matchup between the two potential first time major champions, or just the big one, world number 1, world number 2. But the other combinations would be less exciting. Yeah. I wasn't gonna ask the producer if he has some Celtic United memories, but well, indeed.
I think Badosa Swiatek actually would be quite good.
I don't know. I don't really want to see it, to be honest.
Actually, the Billie Jean King Cup match was pretty good.
It was pretty good, but I mean, second set Badosa just takes so much out of her then.
Yeah.
That Roy Keane played for both, right? United and Celtic, I think. Henrik Larsson, didn't he? So yeah, there's a few connections there. Either way, 5 minutes here.
Oh.
And still 2 points away from the match.
That is just ruthless with the inside out backhand.
Vanch is just like,
I'm a sucker for that
impressed by the brutal nature.
Like when Stanley Winka used to hit that inside out backhand in those Djokovic matchups. or like Federer started doing later in his career against Rafa.
Yeah, 2017, the year of the backhand.
Well, that is going to bring up match point.
Yeah, speaking of ruthless, that forehand winner was definitely there. And we've got our first
Is 1
match
hour
point.
30 minutes the longest 6-1, 6-2 that Iga's ever had in her career?
It is a pretty long match, yeah, for a 6-1, 6-2, that's for sure. 1 hour 20. Oh,
1 hour
okay.
27 minutes, yeah.
Even 27, okay.
Yeah, so for context, her 6-3, 6-4 win against Siniakova was 1 hour 20.
Okay, yeah. From here, I'm seeing like I can't recognize whether it's an 8 or a 0 from the TV angle.
Yeah,
either way, yeah, it's actually an 8 then. So yeah, almost 90 minutes for a 6-1, 5-2. That could be insane. But it's another just like ruthless, as Vansh said, forehand winner down the line.
Holy crap! Yeah, I mean, when Iga finds her range like this, I mean, yeah, she is very, very, very ruthless. She stomps all over you.
Can she keep stomping here and take this match point? Gonna be a longer forehand cross-court exchange. Actually, Navarro not holding up too poorly in that.
Yeah, the serve was kind of a point starter there, but let's see how this rally goes. Oh my goodness. Iga on the run with that forehand. A lot of shape going down the line with it. Navarro holding up, defending actually pretty well in this point. And Iga's going to hit a volley, a stick volley. And is this backhand going to miss? Oh, it does miss. But what a match point. What a point.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Tommy Paul yesterday because he hit this insane pass down match point. And if Emma made this shot...
Yeah, Loki, that may be the most competitive 6-1, 6-2 I've ever seen.
Sorta. I mean, nah, Vansh. I don't know. I mean, still...
I don't really remember too many 6-1, 6-2s, but...
Yeah, exactly. Like, was it... I know we said something recently about Paulini against Muchova, right? I think I was much more competitive at 6-2, 6-2.
But that was a 6-2, 6-2. This is a
I know. 6-2, 6-2, 6-2. Yeah, but like here, it never felt like Navarro actually, other than one break point.
Oh yeah, she never really had a chance. But still, like apart from the 2-all game.
But Paulini Muchova, I know it's off by one game, yes. But there, I think there were opportunities. That much I actually could see going the other way at some point. This one less so, although I guess you could argue that if Emma takes the break point at 2-all, maybe the double bounce call doesn't come. But yeah, all in all, just another demolition, right? 14 games lost by Swiatek in the first 5 rounds, and actually 7 against Siniakova and 7 in the next 4 matches. So she hasn't really struggled at all the entire event. Again, like Navarro's movement is great, but it's not enough for Iga not to like outmaneuver her. The spins, the angles in the rallies, incredible stuff. And also just purely the fact that, she forces Emma to be so aggressive and it's not too natural for her. As we said, the deep returns down the middle were kind of doing the trick, but otherwise not much. And yeah, there was one breakpoint for Navarro, yes, at 2-all. I think it was a relatively short rally. She just kind of like tries to attack down the middle again with the return, but nothing there. But yeah, I mean, obviously Iga will be advancing to the semifinals now. She's going to play Madison Keys. It's 4-1. What? Pressure tied up until 6 a.m. I'm guessing he won't still be live then. Well, no, we're not going to talk about Emma Navarro losing to Iga Swiatek for 35 minutes. Although it would kind of fit the match because 6-1, 6-2, not much substance, but it was 89 minutes. And maybe, our talk about the match, if it was 35 minutes, that would be something insane too. But yeah, let's talk about the semifinals. I don't know if you're ready, Vansh, now, but let's talk about the semifinal between Swiatek and Madison Keys. 4-1 for Iga in the head-to-head, but the only match that they played on, let's say, on a very fast hard court, it was in Cincinnati, but let's say on a court faster than Indian Wells, it was actually Keys that won.
Yep, 2022 Cincinnati, obviously. Iga for me goes in as a pretty heavy favorite, actually, having seen what I just seen from her the last 3-4 rounds. She looks like the player to beat, maybe even at this tournament. I mean, we'll see, depending on what happens in the final. But the way I've seen Swiatek just move keys around, like make her play low percentage tennis, and just kind of what she's capable of doing when she gets a lead, it will be very, very hard for Maddie to stop that. So, and I guess nighttime conditions would be a little bit of a change for both, because they've mostly been playing in the day, apart from around each. But yeah, I feel pretty good about this from an Iga perspective.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a very different matchup. Someone you can actually see pushing Iga, because it's so natural for Maddie to just come out and blast the ball, and the ball striking talent is absolutely fantastic. But we've seen this also happen to her, like of course on clay, but where Iga's athletic potential, movement, defense is very strong, and then obviously she can also like engage with Maddie in a hitting contest and prevail. So yeah, I mean, Keys would have to just like execute her game absolutely perfectly on the day. I think that's clear. When Cincinnati 2022 happened, that was that part of the season where Iga, after the entire win streak was like a little off for a while, everybody after Caroline Garcia in Warsaw started attacking her second serve and even first serve, just like demolishing it. And that's what Beatriz Haddad-Maia did in Canada. That's what Madison Keys did in Cincinnati. Then, of course, the US Open. There's also a couple of very tough matches along the way to that title. So, yeah, it's clear that Iga is the favorite. Like, Maddie has a chance if she's like absolutely spotless on the day, and the aggressive hitting is just so overwhelming. We know that the second serve, at least, of Swiatek will be under fire. That's like something that Keys always does. That's something she will definitely have a shot at doing. But yeah, at the moment, it looks like Swiatek is the likelier finalist for sure. That's not really a bold call, but yeah, I love it for Maddie to have another Grand Slam semi. I think that eventually, further down the line, she kind of deserves that title, but of course, it's gonna be very tough to get it, and probably not here, considering the names that are remaining in the event.
Yeah, she's on a 10-match win streak. She has a lot of momentum. She's been playing the big points pretty well, especially in her last two matches. And like you said, yeah, the second serve, she's going to look to attack that right from the get-go and be in the front foot in those rallies. But when the movement comes into it, I am a little bit worried about her, just because she also has a lot of tape on her left leg or something today as well. And she didn't come out of the gates quite that strong. She really had to kind of work her way into the match. And against Iga, yeah, that early part of the match, the first few games are so important. And I think we'll kind of see early on if Iga comes out and has like a 3-love, 4-love lead. It's going to be very hard for Keys to come back.
Yeah, and another thing that the producer wanted to get us on is the take on double bounces in tennis, starting with the one day. What does that mean? The one today. Okay, so yeah, double bounces in tennis. I mean, today we had a very clear double bounce there. It's a shame that the video review couldn't be used, but apparently it is there actually in Australia. And it's just like with Hawkeye. I mean, you have to do it right away. You have to stop the point right there. You cannot play it out and then say, oh, but 10 shots earlier, someone had a double bounce. Of course, I'm exaggerating. In the Navarro case, it was like one shot earlier, literally. But it is the rule. And just in general, yeah, I mean, it's nice that we have the technology finally. So I guess in this very case, we can't really blame it on anybody because we have the technology. Navarro, it's also a very appropriate reaction, I guess, from her that, yeah, okay, she's just going to try to play it out. And then suddenly you're like, oh, I should have used the video review tool or whatever. But the umpire probably should have called it, to be honest. She was super close. But just in general, yeah, I understand that these calls tend to be extremely tricky. And sometimes when you're playing, like even you yourself, unless the ball bounces like back with a lot of topspin, you're not really going to be like 100% sure. So I'm also absolutely like excusing Iga as I'm excusing almost all players in these cases. Like sometimes there are obvious ones like Rune Serundolo, right, at the French 1 year. Like that was just obviously Holger knew at the time. But here I think it's close enough that if you aren't 100% sure that you didn't make it, it's perfectly fine for you not to be admitting to it, because even yourself, you're not going to be certain about it. So if you aren't 100% sure that you lost the point, in this very case, Ashley, I think you're right that the umpire had the perfect view of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Not much more to add, but I mean, I do feel for Emma in that sense. It was a very important point. It was 2-all deuce. She had a break point in that game. That was the game of the match that could have made it more competitive. Had the umpire seen it, which was, basically she had the best view, I would say. The players, it was very hard for Emma to stop that point right as it happened, because you have to be like, I don't know, 150% confident, and it was very, very close, the call. And like even when they showed the replay, from, it was only the third camera angle, that from the side view, that was the most clear, that you could actually see, oh, it did double bounce, but it wasn't super obvious at first. So
definitely from the first angle, you would be like, maybe she made it. It wasn't even like abundantly clear, by the way, the ball bounced, that it had topspin on it or anything. But either way, when we saw the third or second replay of the side angle, then it just bounces at the ground second time, and then Iga gets it. Of course, even the video review sometimes doesn't solve all the issues, as we saw at the US Open when Kalinskaya was playing, right? And she kind of just straight up got cheated. I mean, I can't even call it any other way. And that was another issue, that like the umpire sitting, in the chair, she wasn't the one deciding, right? It was some people in the backstage basically, and they just made like comical error where the entire stadium sees the ball bounce twice, and yet Kalinskaya doesn't get the point. So so that was like an example of the fact that maybe this is also something to be perfected potentially in the future. But it's good we have the technology. Hopefully in future cases we'll just be able to use it, and more people, I think, should be just kind of thinking about that rather than human mistakes, because just human mistakes happen. If we have the technology to stop them from maybe being like as obvious, maybe in fact we could also automate that, right? I mean, we have the Hawkeye Live already. Why not like automate double bounces? That's also possible, right? So I think going forward, maybe let's kind of focus on how we can use the existing technology to make the situation better, rather than kind of maybe look at certain human errors either in the umpire or in the player. I don't know. I haven't seen any, like, honestly, abuse for Iga yet, at least in terms of not admitting to it, because again, maybe people just realized that she didn't have to know. But I remember, like, a few years back, definitely there were many cases like this. Lara Zygmunt once got so much heat at the French Open for not admitting to
the most
double bounce.
the most recent one is the Jack Draper and Felix Auger-Aliassime.
Oh yeah, that was really last year.
That's the one where Draper had got so much scrutiny and hate, frankly, on social media for it, that it actually affected the next match that he played, like, which he admitted at the US Open. So where like he just comes out against Holger, and he was just really, really flat, and just couldn't really play normally. So
very, very random, but obviously at that event there wouldn't have been any video review, but there was double bounce in the Szczecin doubles final a year and a half ago, and like the handshake after the match between the players, oh wow. And I can't blame them, because in that very case, like, it was so clear that that was a double bounce. Everybody knew it besides the umpire, and there's nothing you can do, right? So unfortunately for Emma, I mean, she's also not really used probably to that video review technology, right? So in all these cases, basically you are like, she was used to the fact that when that something like this happens, you just have to play out the point, because there's nothing you can do. But actually now you have. So maybe when players kind of get used to the idea of the technology being there as well, maybe they can be just a little more proactive with it. But obviously I'm not blaming Emma there, because as she still had a chance.
She should have stopped the point. Is it's very dubious at best, because she couldn't have known.
Well, I mean, I think she knew right away, but it's it's a natural reaction, at least for now, for her to keep going in this one and not stop it for a double bounce that might be there, might not be there. Technology that might be available, might not be available. But maybe as it is gonna be a little more going forward. Obviously, when Hawkeye was first introduced, players were also a little tentative with it, right? And then eventually you kind of just get used to the idea and you stop the point. Sometimes, of course, you're wrong. I mean, it's also going to happen, but yeah, basically that's kind of how I feel about it. Not Emma's fault, obviously. Probably not Iga's fault. The umpire, not the best call in her life, that's for sure. Of course, Eva Azderaki has been in the chair for so many years now, but yeah, definitely not her finest moment.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean that's really it, more or less. What other technology changes could we bring in, or is this the final one?
Actually, saw Zverev saying something about this yesterday, but like they don't have like a let machine. They don't have like a like the let reviews at the majors anymore since Roland Garros last year. So that would probably be like an obvious one.
So why didn't they bring back the let umpire?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, isn't that kind of strange that we don't have that? But we have like a camera on every single other corner of the
I
court.
mean, apparently it's some sort of issue with the bankruptcy of the company that was producing the machine, right? And now they just haven't like organized anything new, which is I don't know. It's yeah. It doesn't seem to me like the let machine would be like this sort of like the Coca-Cola recipe or the herbs and spices for KFC, right? Where they just like hold on to this and they keep the whole thing in the safe. And basically, if you spread it out to the public, you're going to be like decapitated or something like that. I think the recipe or like the technology to build the let machine is probably there. So yeah, this is the tweet I'm referencing actually. So because the company went bankrupt and yeah, they just don't have it anymore. It doesn't feel to me like it's that obvious that I mean, it feels to me like it should be more obvious that someone else can also produce a let machine and it's not the herbs and spices of KFC is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. That would probably be the most obvious technology thing that used to have, but now we don't have, but hopefully there'll be a fix for. Aside from that, I can't really think of anything top of my head. One rule change. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, some people go really radical with this one. They're like, okay, let's abolish second serve. Let's do that, which I would not be in favor of. I love the dynamics of first and second serve, so I hope that stays.
It's nothing groundbreaking, but 8 minutes between 8 seconds between first and second serve.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Djokovic yesterday was pushing it to the absolute limit. That's for sure. And, he's allowed to do that. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But I think it would really speed up the game and make it a bit more entertaining. And also, another rule that is kind of about speeding up the game from the next gen finals is that if the point is less than 2 shots, or fewer than 3 shots, let's say, so ace, unreturned serve, double fault, it's only 15 seconds between 20 or rather than 25 between the point. Then there's no need for you to go to the towel after you hit an ace. So that's what I'm trying to say. Fast 4 format would be the very radical change that I wouldn't want right now, but I'm not gonna be a big hater if it happens, let's say in years. I don't know when, but it's tough for me to kind of give you an estimation of 20 years or something like that. But like I wouldn't hate it. But yeah, that's like very if I want to go radical. But if I want to go just like very small, then yeah, these 2 small improvements that we've seen in terms of pace from the next gen finals, I think they can be easily introduced because between the first and the second serve, some players take like 20 seconds, and that's I don't know. I don't find it entertaining. I find it frustrating.
What's my radical one? I don't know. Maybe best of 3 the first week of the slams for both tours, and then best of 5 the second week. I think that could be interesting.
So sorry, once more.
Best of 3 for the first week of majors.
No, I mean, come on. The other way around would be better. Best of 5 in the first week, and then best of 3 in the second week. I mean, best of 5 in the first week is literally what the majors are all about.
But then think of all those women's finals that have finished in like under an hour. That like you wish could have been like more competitive.
Then just play. I mean, I would play best of 5 the entire 2 events. I don't
Yeah,
care.
but then scheduling, you know, how are you gonna do that? Like that's impossible.
You're gonna find a way. You're gonna find a way.
I
Either
don't know.
the
I don't know if you
events
can
might
find a
last
way.
3 weeks.
I don't know if you can find a way. Yeah, you'd have to make the majors 3 weeks.
Then make the
And then-
majors 3 weeks.
and then
I don't
qualies.
care.
And then
But
what about the other events?
taking
Like,
away
I don't
best
know.
of 5 in the first week, that's not actually a solution. Like that doesn't help anybody. This is just gonna make all these amazing classics that we're getting like absolutely ruined.
I mean, we'd have more classics in the second week. Where like right now, I sometimes feel like we don't. You know. So.
And why would we have more classics in the second week then?
Because best of 5. I mean, it's hard to keep that level
it
for
wouldn't
longer.
suddenly turn Australian Open 23 into a great event, you know? The Australian Open 2023 was fun for 3 rounds, and after that it was a joke. And if it's the same, if it's best of 5 only in the last few rounds, it doesn't actually get improved. Like there's nothing that can be raised there. Like Djokovic still wins all his matches in straight sets.
I mean, but then you have the women.
Lehechka still doesn't perform against Khachanov.
But you have the women playing best of 5 now, so that's
not Khachanov, but Tsitsipas is what I wanted to say. I mean, yeah, women best of 5, sure, go for it, but for the entire event, not just for a few rounds. Or maybe you can go women for a few rounds in the let's say from the quarterfinals onwards, but the best of 5 format stays for the first week on the men's.
What else? Yeah, I think the mandatories on the WTA too many. You know, get rid of those like 10 WTA mandatory 1000s, way too much. Make 8 1000s a year maximum. Draws, like you got to get it after the qualies. Like wait till the qualies are over and then do the draw ceremony.
Live draw ceremonies for more events.
Yeah, for more
make
events.
it like a big show. Make it an event that people can actually follow along.
Yeah, make it interactive. WTA entry list as well. You know, just make the website better in general. The website is not good.
The new ITF website reform as well, just in terms of the live scores, live streaming. Just get it back to where it was 2 months ago, please. I mean, some events do challenger draw ceremonies. I remember watching some live
Roland
streams.
Garros and Wimbledon, please put better highlights because US Open and Australian Open are really good now, and you guys are lagging way behind.
Yeah, so, just turn on the PDC channel, so the Professional Darts Corporation, and see their highlights. Like, come on, it's like I don't know, like half an hour or an hour after every single day. They have just such a great package. Like sometimes when I can't watch the day, I just watch the highlights, and that's what I want to do in tennis as well. When I can't watch the action of the day, just watch the highlights.
But the highlights are so bad for Roland Garros and Wimbledon, so that. That would be mine. And then also more indoor events on the WTA, you know? Why is the WTA finals like indoors and then there's like nothing indoors before that? So make one of the 1000s indoors.
Why not? I don't know if it's actually something that I care about, but yeah.
US Open social media is very good. I mean, they literally have extended highlights for all the qualifying matches too. But
as we discovered last year, Vansh, it's not all the qualifying matches, right?
Okay, I mean most of them, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think not on their YouTube page, but on their website.
Ah, okay. Because I think you were trying to tell me last year that there were like highlights for all the qualifying matches, and I got really excited, and then I realized that actually
some of them during the event are not there, but then after the event is over, they upload them.
Okay.
So.
Sure. I mean, after the event, I don't know if I'm gonna be
at
coming
that point
back.
You're probably not gonna come back, most likely. But
I mean, the problem in tennis is that like you never really have the chance to come back to many matches because there's more action. Like the US Open ends, and the day after you have
off-season content. There you go, December highlights.
Maybe in the off season.
Yeah,
maybe in the off season.
But that's like 2 weeks now. So yeah, that's like some of mine, but I don't know. There's some where people are like, you gotta catch. You know, if you catch your ball toss, that's the first serve, or that counts.
Who is down on Shelton, by the way?
Are we down on Shelton? I mean, I'm not down on him. He's had a great tournament. He's played very well this week. He's been actually really clutch in the tie breaks, at the end of the sets. I mean, just watch the Brandon Nakashima match. He was so good at the end of the reset. And then also the Lorenzo Musetti match, the fourth set tiebreak was like so clutch.
The Brandon Nakashima match, especially, that was the most important one. No one considered him for top 10 year and 25. I mean, I didn't
I
put
have
him
him
in
in
there,
my
but
like top 15. I think he can be
did I
somewhere in
consider him? Yeah, I said that the season that he had last year, that's probably like the worst he can do. Really, like that. This is the base point from which he's probably going to be starting his entire career. Just because, even if he's not in form, he's still going to be getting wins and getting some random runs out of nowhere. Will this one be random? I mean, we'll kind of have to wait and see. Probably not quite as random as the 2023 campaign was.
Yeah, he's also so much better in best of 5 than he is in best of 3. He's like 16 percentage points better win percentage wise.
I mean, obviously, it still kind of doesn't mean much if he can't even like push Yannick in the semis. Like that will be kind of the key matchup. If he gets to the semis playing a bunch of, let's say, players who aren't exactly at the top of the sport, and then loses to Sinner in 3 without actually generating a break point or something like that, then I don't know if it will feel like a massive win for Ben. But if he can trouble Yannick, then yeah. And yeah, sure. I mean, likely to win a slam. If Sinner and Alcaraz aren't there.
Yeah. We'll see if he can do something at the other events too, like the 1000s. Like Cincinnati for him has always been pretty good.
He's still,
like
one of the best players of the upcoming generation for sure. It's just that his game is a lottery.
Yeah, because he doesn't break serve as much as the other guys, so that's a big part of it.
Yeah, every single match is close, and it's kind of not sustainable for in the long run. But at the same time, there's still time, and he has to start trusting his baseline game, his athletic ability a bit more. He does not have to be as much of a serve bot as he himself thinks he is. Well, show it to us, sure. Shelton the better chance to beat Sinner than Sonego? Obviously. I mean, Lorenzo against Yannick is not a match. Ben can actually serve. I mean, that's the most exciting part about Shelton playing any top player, is that he can just serve well and keep it close, regardless of who it is on the other side of the net. But the problem is that, for example, their last meeting, sure, the scoreline was close, but it never actually felt like he might have a chance in the breaker.
Swiatek was awarded the quarterfinals of a slam. Terrible look for tennis. Okay.
I mean, the last sentence to me is like...
It's like wanting to get engagement.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible look for tennis. In fact, truth be told, things like this help tennis because this is getting press,
Yep,
this is something that my mom This is something that my mom, when I'm talking to her next, will bring up to me. And she's not gonna say, "Oh, Iga played this great match where I don't know she was outmaneuvering Navarro off the ground."
We'll make headlines of other news sites like the Daily Express or something, and they'll come up with some kind of really good clickbait, and then my mom will send it to me on WhatsApp. Exactly.
Exactly. No such thing as bad press. That's the saying, and I do think in this case it absolutely tracks. It's going to be on many websites that usually wouldn't be talking about tennis, and that's good. Obviously, I'm not saying this is good. That this happens. I am all for fair sport, but yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be divided opinion on it, just like the Daniel Collins thing in the second round. My mom was like, send me a link to that. What happened with Daniel Collins?
Exactly.
Yeah. She does not. She really doesn't care about tennis, but she sees that and she's interested. So
that's what casual tennis fans, or even non-casual tennis fans, like not non-tennis fans at all, like people who are just briefly interested, that's what they kind of want to read about. And I'm not saying this is why we should have more umpiring errors or something like that. I just don't think it's a terrible look for tennis at all. Either way, I think we probably covered it all.
Yeah.
And Iga Swiatek, Madison Keys, that's going to be tomorrow. Now, of course, Ben Shelton and Lorenzo Sonego are starting up their semifinal. But we have covered this match with Vansh, which was actually quite long for a 6-1, 6-2. I don't know if it was the best match I've ever seen. That was a 6-1, 6-2, as Vansh
Yeah, that's
boldly called
recency
it.
bias probably on my part. I'd have to go with look at like match times and all that. But yeah, I mean, sure.
It was solid. For a 6-1, 6-2, I guess it was pretty entertaining. We had the controversy as well. So there was a lot to talk about. I mean, producer is going to be coming out of prison apparently in 8 minutes, but yeah, I mean, we're not going to wait because, I mean, I'm not really sure what we would be waiting for at this point. I think we've done this much, some good justice already. Emma Navarro, what a run. Lots of determination, lots of grit, lots of tennis talent as well showed over these 5 matches. But unfortunately, Iga Swiatek is just a machine right now. And let's see if anyone else can stop her. Yeah, once more, thank you to everybody. Thank you, Vansh.
Yep, thank you.
See ya.
See ya.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
you.